Yo, 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 this your boy David E, aka David L. Patron, and I would like to welcome you guys to his Up From Here podcast. And I got my good friend here with me today. His name is Rantz Davis, y'all. Rantz, can you give him an insight on who you are and exactly what you do?
Yes, sir. Rantz Davis, born and raised out of New Orleans, R&B artist, songwriter, vocal production. Yeah, that's what I do, man. I've been born and raised in New Orleans. I moved to Atlanta about 10 years ago, but before moving from New Orleans to Atlanta, released a few joints that actually hit the radio. Two of those joints actually charted on Billboard and were like the #1 R&B song in the city of New Orleans.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been on a little journey. Took a little hiatus, and now I'm back on the scene, man.
All right. That's cool, man. This is actually one of my good friends, y'all. You know, back in the day, I used to be into music too myself, and I reached out. This brother actually was with another one of my friends the other day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he reached out to me, and I just had made a post on Instagram. You saw the post I tagged you in?
I did.
When they gave out the award.
KC Studio.
Yeah. I'm like, well, what about all us? We ain't get no awards.
About the hip hop thing when they gave the proclamation.
Yeah, they gave the proclamation. Yeah. I'm like, I guess our generation got forgot about, but it's all good.
It is what it
is. So look, I got a few questions for you, man.
Okay.
What inspired you to make a comeback in the music industry after a major hit on the radio?
Man, the fact that I had major hits on the radio.
Okay.
That was one of the inspirations, obviously, to make the comeback, is because I've done it before, so I know I could do it again.
Okay.
Also, obviously, the passion for music. I love music, man. It's just I went on a different life journey that kind of took me away from it. But even when I was taken away from it and going on different journeys, God, I have a real strong faith in God, man, and God never allowed me to forget. You got to get back to music. And what I mean by that is, obviously, God is a spirit. He's not an actual flesh. So he uses people in the flesh, though. So
right.
There's times where I've gotten so many DMs from random people just on my Instagram, people that I don't even know or don't even follow. Times where I come to visit the city. I'm from here, so times I come visit for the holidays or, festivals and things like that. And it'll be random people that just stop me and be like, yo, man, I still listen to your music. I still listen to the music that you released 10 years ago to this day. We still waiting on you, bro. You still one of my favorite artists to come out of New Orleans and things like that. Like, those are the type of things that kind of kept me like, okay, eventually you gotta find your way back. It was things that through people, through DMs, through situations, through experiences and that I experienced in life over the past couple years that just reminded me, hey, I know you're going through something. I know you're going through your journey. And because I went through an entrepreneur journey where I was getting into wanting to be a businessman, which I still am.
Okay.
But even God is like, hey, I'm letting you venture off into business, but don't forget what your purpose is. Your purpose is music, and I'm allowing you to have that experience in business, so that when you come back to music, you're going to be more business minded. You're going to be, your mentality is going to be much different this time, where you had some success, but you're going to have even more success this time around, because I know some of the things that you were lacking.
Okay.
And you being a businessman, you having that success in business is giving you the characteristics and the things that you were lacking, so that you can get back to your purpose, and you'll have more success this time around than you did last time. So like it's just several things, but those were like some of the key things that really inspired me to make a comeback into music.
Man, I think that's super incredible, man.
Yeah, man.
Actually, a beautiful
Appreciate
story.
It,
can you share some insights into the creative process behind your upcoming album or single?
Yeah, so man, it's crazy. So I've just got back into music about a year ago, right?
Right.
But when I got back into music a year ago, obviously if you're saying, hey, you got back into music a year ago, we haven't heard anything in the past year. I got back into music on behind the scenes, songwriting.
Okay.
So this is the thing that I'm most excited about this comeback, is this is the most creative I've ever been. And I feel like this is the most creative I've ever been, because I didn't come back into music like, damn, I'm just gonna be an artist. I'm gonna have this person write this song. I'm gonna get in with this songwriter, get in with this producer. No, I'm gonna come back into music behind the scenes, because music changes.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying? Music
does.
changes, so I needed to learn the ins and outs of the new industry. The new cadences, the new nuances, the new melodies and things
Right.
like that as well. And then also just get back into the environment of meeting new producers and the younger generation as well. So I got back a year ago, songwriting. My good friend and cousin V Script, he created a new genre called Afro Bounce. So I've actually been a part of that, songwriting, doing vocal production, doing background vocals, and just being back in that environment. And I want to say maybe a few months ago, I actually came Verdell V Script. He actually threw the first NOLA writing camp.
Okay, wow.
Yes, back in September, he threw the first NOLA writing camp, and that writing camp really jump-started me getting back into the creative process of being an artist again. Because when I came to the writing camp, not only was I writing, but I was referencing records as well. So once I started referencing, getting back on the mic, actually, gaining that confidence again in my vocals and my vocal ability and my ability to be able to deliver R&B records. That's the thing that really jump-started, like, okay. And then seeing the reactions from everybody once they heard the references and things like that, it's like, okay, yeah, bro, I think I need to get back into singing. Now is God is letting me know, like, now is the time. You done got your feet wet with the songwriting, you done got your feet wet with vocal production and behind the scenes. Now I'm about to show you now it's time for you to start getting back into the creative process of being an artist again.
Okay.
And I met a lot of songwriters and a lot of different producers at that writing camp, and gained a lot of great relationships to the point where they even showed me how to record myself, how to engineer my own sessions and things like that. Those are things that I never did 10 years ago. Even though I was on Billboard and everything, I would say back then I was more...
Yeah, back then I think we used to feel like, man, we got to be in the studio.
Yes.
It got to be a certain type of environment.
Yes. I got to be recorded by a certain person.
Right.
I had to have a certain production, all that stuff. Now, man, I could record literally, bro, I go home, I got my own studio set up at the crib.
Okay.
I don't need no engineer. I can literally record whenever I want. All I need is beats, beats from certain producers that I have relationships with. They send it to me. I go through my beats. I listen to them, whatever one I'm feeling for that at that time. I upload it to the Pro Tools, and I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? I do have one songwriter that I work with. I'll record some melodies, send it over to him, see what he think about it, and then we, collaborate on lyrics. And after we collaborate on the lyrics, I go ahead and record it. I may record it once and send it to him, see what he thinks about it, get his opinion on it. Once he says it's a go, then we go on to the next and go like that. But that's the creative process that I do now. I listen to the beats, see which one I'm feeling, coming up with melodies, come up with a concept, collab with my guy. He's from New Orleans, but he lives in LA. So we'll do Zoom call or FaceTime calls or whatever. We'll, just bounce ideas off each other. I'll send him a voice memo or whatever. He'll send me one back.
I think that's super dope.
Things like that. And then we just go off of that and I'll record, bounce it out, send it to him, see what he thinks. And we just go back and forth off ideas like that.
So are there any particular artists, genres, or trends that influence you in your recent work?
Yes, definitely, man. A lot of the underground R&B.
Okay.
I love artists like Lucky Day. I love Meta, Kalani. I love Summer Walker, SZA, obviously. Destin Conrad. It's a long list of artists, but I love a lot of the R&B. I'm an R&B guy. I love R&B. So her, like those type of artists, those even some of Usher's newer records that he's been dropping as well. I listen to a lot of Kevin Ross. Eric Bellinger. You know what I'm saying? Like those artists has really been inspiring me over the past couple of years, even before I got back into music. Those were like the people I would listen to and say, okay, when I do get back into music, this is the lane that I want to be in. So, those are just to name a few. Like it's a long list, but just to name a few, like those are some of the artists that have really inspired me and really influenced the Rantz Davis that's coming back. Okay,
that's dope, man. So what role do your past successes and experiences play in shaping your current artistic vision?
Man, learning from your mistakes. Learning from your mistakes. I'm not saying like I made a bunch of mistakes, but I made some mistakes. And I know this time around, choosing the right team, choosing the right management, choosing the right sounds, choosing the right direction and lane for you. I feel like back then, even though I did have success, I was experimenting a lot.
Okay.
I was like, I was trying to do whatever was cool, whatever was trendy. Do you find like in today's music world, because I know music is
way different from when we were doing it, right?
Yep.
Do you think it's more of the younger generation? They just like, man, look, I'm gonna do what I feel. Cause back then it was more of a controlled thing, right? Mm-hmm. By with our generation, like whatever trending, that's the sound we going for. If we don't give them that sound that they looking for, 9 times out of 10, you just not gonna make it at all.
Well, see, yes, you're right, because streaming changed everything.
Right.
Because with streaming, radio is still important, but it's not as important because we don't need to listen to the radio to hear you. We can go on Tidal, we can go on Spotify, we can go to Apple Music, and we can just discover new artists that's not on the radio.
Right.
So nowadays you can be more of what's true to you. You don't have to say, okay, Trey Songz is doing this, Chris Brown is doing this.
So let me sound like this.
So I got to do this.
Right.
Because this is the only way I'm going to get on the radio. It don't even matter no more. Like now you can do whatever's true to you and you can have your own fan base. Your fan base will have access to you through the streaming, through Instagram.
So do you think streaming affect music though? Because it's like, I know back then you sell 1 million records, you platinum, right?
Right. Right.
But nowadays, it's not like that, right? I guess you got to get billions of streams to get recognized and make money. Because at the end of the day, it's still a business.
Yes.
It's about making money. So you got to sell billions of streams to make money.
So this is the thing. You're not going to probably, as an artist, you're not going to make a lot of money off of streaming. That's just is what it is. Snoop Dogg said it best. He actually, it was an interview he did, and I saw it on Instagram. He had one record where he had over 1 billion streams.
Okay.
He got a check for it, and it wasn't even 45,000. But this is the thing. This is the cool thing. If you have a fan base that streams your music like that, you can make a lot of money off your shows. That's where you're gonna make your money at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you build your fan base, you get 1 million stream, over 200 million streams, all that stuff. All that time, I'm not gonna really make that much money off them streams, but I do know, cha-ching, when I throw my shows, them people that streaming my music, they gonna pay the tickets.
See what I like about shows nowadays, because it's almost like the artists control their own numbers. Because back when we was growing up, we make $1,000 a show, $1,500, $2,000 a show. But these young men today, man, they want 10 grand, 20 grand,
and they making it, bro. Especially if you have the streams to show. If you got those streams, the streams is important because it's gonna let you know how much money you're gonna make off your shows.
Right. It's your resume.
Exactly. You're not gonna make that much money off just the streams. It's gonna be your show money. Your show money is where the streams is gonna equivalent to show money. That's what it is now. Okay. And like I said, you can stay in your lane now. If you getting 200 million streams and you doing your lane, you doing R&B or you doing hip hop, it may not be the trendy hip hop. It could be, underground hip hop, whatever it is. It's showing that you got that cult following or that fan base that's just true to you and loyal to you. They gonna come to them shows, and it's and also the streams kind of show you a breakdown of what cities you want to go do your shows in. I'm getting all these streams from Atlanta. I'm getting these streams from New Orleans. I'm getting these streams from Miami. So I know where to do my shows at too. I'm not gonna do my shows in New York if I'm only getting 20 streams in New York. If I'm getting 300,000 streams in Miami, I'm gonna go through my shows in Miami and Atlanta and all the other cities that they stream in my music at.
So are there any collaborations you're looking forward to?
Man, I have some dream collaborations. Obviously, I'm collaborating with V Script. He's a 5-time Grammy nominated songwriter.
Oh.
I'm also collaborating with Bridges. He's my good friend as well. He's 5-time Grammy nominated. So I got a lot of friends that I'm close with that are Grammy nominated that I'm looking forward to working with really, really soon. But as far as like artists, obviously artists that are out there, I do have some dream collaborations. Obviously, I'm a big Wayne fan, so I always dream about working with Wayne. Lucky Day, I just mentioned him. He's from New Orleans as well. He's somebody that I really, really respect in the R&B game. I think he's super duper talented, so I would love to do a record with him in the future. Those Summer Walkers, the Scissors, all those would be like dream collaborations. The people that really molded and inspire me, for my sound now. So
are you an independent artist now, or are you still signed to a label? How does that look?
Nah, strictly independent. V Script, he started something called Believe That Music Group. So if I was to sign to anything, it would be that music group. We haven't really, it's a LLC. You know, we've started the LLC, well, he started the LLC and everything. So if I was to sign any type of thing, it would first off be with, family business, type thing like that. But right now we just independent, man. We just walking out on faith right now, man. Letting God lead, letting God lead me, man. I've over the past year, I've really gotten real close to God, man. So I just feel like God is leading me where I'm at right now, and I'm just gonna continue to let Him lead me on the path. But I'm not signing anybody, no independent. It's just me and God right now, man. We just,
Man, that's a beautiful thing, man. Can you share any memorable moments or stories from your time away from the spotlight that have influenced you in your music career?
Yes, definitely. Away from the spotlight, me getting my own business.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. So back in 2018, 2019, I went on a journey. Actually, 2017 or 2019, I went on a journey. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to, have control of my own destiny, and man, on that journey, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what it takes to be successful, the type of mentality that it takes, the type of character it takes, the habits that you have to have, the discipline that you need. And I feel like those are the things that's going to allow me to be even more successful this time around with music, because I felt like I lacked some things characteristic wise when even though I did have success in music, there was some things that I lacked character wise and mentally that I've gained on that journey. Because it was some things, I learned. One thing I always tell people that I learned was that having success, the definition of success is doing a bunch of things you don't feel like doing when you don't feel like doing it. Right. But you have to have the discipline to do it when you don't feel like doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I've been able to apply that even in the past year of me being in music. There's some times where I might get called to a session and I'd rather watch a football game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But instead of watching that football game, I'm gonna go to the session because this is what I love to do. This is my calling. I'm gonna just catch the football game later, or maybe I might watch it on my phone for a little bit or something. I'll figure it out. Right. But I'm not gonna turn that session down. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm gonna do what I need to do, even if I don't feel like doing it. If I planned on just chilling at the house all day, but I got called for a session that I need to go to, I'm gonna go to it. So yeah, man, like that's probably that journey from 2017 to 2019 of doing what I needed to do to not only start the business, but to make the business successful. Because anybody can start a business. True. But the difference between, starting a business and making it successful is going through that journey and, going through those ups and downs and, pushing yourself when you feel like you can't do it no more, or, when you're having self-doubt and believing in yourself and, things like that. So, and I feel like those are the things that I learned on that journey. And I feel like that's why God put me on that journey, so that He can give me the characteristics and the mentality that I need to be even more successful than I was back then.
Right, man. Listen, y'all, I want to thank my good friend right here, Rantz Davis, for coming on to It's Up From Here podcast, bro. You had probably one of the most interesting, because usually I do real estate, but I felt like we on season 2, right? So I feel like, you know what, I want to give people a little bit more than real estate. What's going on outside in the world, in the business, in the music career. And last week I had Felton Jones on. He taught about coffee. Nice. And building PJ's Coffee up as well. So I want to give people a overall insight on how all businesses work, right? I don't want to just bore them with what I do. So yeah, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to It's Up From Here podcast. You know who it is. It's your boy David E, aka David L. Patron. You gotta hit a hustle, see the hustle, speak the hustle. Peace.